India's aviation sector is booming and Kempegowda Bangalore International Airport is at the heart of it. But with expansion comes a set of challenges that the airports have to look into it, be it infrastructure investment, expansion, passenger traffic, or safety. To deep dive into this and talk more about it is joining me is the CEO and MD of Bangalore International Airport Limited. It is Mr. Hari Marar. Thank you very much, Hari, for joining us on this conversation.
Pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure.
There is no doubt of the fact that how picturesque this terminal is that we are right here at. Let me begin by asking you, expansion has been quite on the go for a while and it's going to continue to be there. How are you balancing the infrastructure expansion while keeping a check on your operational efficiency and profitability?
So, Karishma, as far as expansion is concerned, it's an absolute imperative. The reason why I say this is because aviation performs a very, very important role. It is really what oils the engine of the economy, right? So the city really needs the airport to function well, number one, and most importantly, to provide it the connectivity that it requires to connect it to distant markets for both goods and people. Without the infrastructure growth that we have seen in Bangalore Airport, or without continuously investing in infrastructure growth, we'll have a major problem, because what happens is the connectivity needs of the city can get choked, and there's nothing worse that could happen. So therefore, continuous investment in infrastructure growth is an imperative. There's no escaping that. But you bring about a very important point. With that, one's got to also balance out the fact that the operational efficiency must continue to be as good as it always was, or must improve over a period of time. And that is something that we pay particular attention to. So while infrastructure growth happens on one side, it's very important for the airport to focus on 3 or 4 things to make sure that the operational efficiency continues. Number one is to ensure that there are institutional mechanisms that run the operation on a 24/7 basis, and it's not too heavily dependent just on people, that there are processes that are running behind this. 2 is the quality of talent and the competencies that the people possess, which needs to be continuously invested in, because as the airport grows, what it takes to run a 30 million airport is not what it took to run a 20 million passenger airport. Similarly, in a few years from now, will be 50, 60 million. And the kinds of competencies and talent required there will be different. So investing in that. Third is technology. Technology, as you can see, DigiYatra right here on display for you. One of the greatest enablers of airport efficiency. So continuously investing in technology to enable efficiency to be maintained. Last but not the least, something at Bangalore Airport we value a lot is building culture. Because it's culture that makes sure that all the various entities, it's a complex multi-stakeholder environment in an airport. 90, 100 different agencies that work together to make the airport function. To make all of that work together, we got to bring a strong culture in the ecosystem. That's something that we invest in as well.
Great. I'm going to tap the operational efficiency part of it, Hari. Tell me, what is your target or estimate for a passenger traffic in this year when it comes to your international outbound traffic? And knowing the fact that now Mumbai Airport is also going to go for a refurbishing. That terminal is going to be off for a while. And you being the third busiest, there is a chance for you to climb to the second position now.
So without getting into competitive terms here, really, I'm just going to focus on what's really the traffic going to be at Bangalore Airport, given the true potential of Bangalore city, not as a result of choking of another city or anything like that, just purely based on Bangalore. I've always felt that Bangalore's been underserved, and now it's time for Bangalore to be served in the manner it needs to be. So last year we closed at roughly about 42 million passengers. This year, our estimate is that we'll touch about 48 million passengers. And our sense is that domestic passengers will be about 41 million and international will be between 7 and 7.5 million passengers, which is a large number. Mind you, it was only 2 years ago that Bangalore Airport touched 5 million passengers on international. And that's a 50% growth in just a matter of 2 to 3 years. And we see this growing in the short term. The traffic will grow from this 48 million to about between 70 and 80 million by 2030 overall.
In next 5 years.
In the next 5 years.
Now, even if I talk about the 7 million passengers that you're talking about
international.
For international.
That's right.
In the coming few years, especially when the reason I'm telling about Bombay terminal going off for a while is because this could become as the hub, the transit
True.
hub for a lot of people to fly, especially eye to eye. Do we have the capacity to take in more than 7 million passengers in the current existing terminal operations?
Yes, absolutely. So this terminal, for instance, which caters 100% to international travel, 100% of international travel is catered from this terminal. Our total built-up capacity in this terminal is 25 million, out of which 15 million is for domestic, 10 million is for international. And we believe that this 10 million can be stretched to be close to 12 million or so, 10 to 12 million. And we feel that by the time this capacity gets exhausted, we will be able to complete phase 2 of Terminal 2. What you're seeing in Terminal 1 right now is only half of the terminal. The second half is just going to be built on the other side and gets integrated. So almost everything that you see today as an integrated domestic and international terminal will become the international terminal in times to come.
Okay, so phase 1 plus phase 2, what is the kind of estimate that we are looking at in terms of traffic handling?
So international alone, 20 million.
20 million.
Yeah.
So in next 5 to say 6 years to come, we'll be able to handle that capacity.
That's right. That's the capacity we're building up. What the actual traffic will be remains to be seen. But what we're betting on is that it'll be 10 million plus by 2030.
Okay, that's great plans, but let me bring in a bit about capital on this. How are you planning on financing this? I see that certain debt levels have increased for you because of the expansion that you have put into. You're also looking at phase 2, another terminal, and a new airport that is coming in the city likely. I mean, the location is being scouted for as of now. Are you going to try and invest a bit of it across the city?
So how do we finance this? I think we finance this typically through a judicious mix of debt and equity. The equity required for the project is 100% generated from the operations itself. We don't need to bring in any additional equity from the existing shareholders. So we see that. So the next phase of expansion, as we speak right now, is going to be roughly between 16 and 20,000 crores.
Okay.
So we'll need about 4,500 crores of equity for that, which we've already secured. We know we've sort of retained all the earnings for the last few years because we knew this investment is coming up. And on the debt side, we're very confident given our strong credit rating, AAA credit rating, as well as our really strong cash flows that we're able to see, that we'll be able to not just secure our debt, but at very attractive terms. And we've fostered very good relationship with banks. So we feel that capital for this project is not going to be a constraint. On the other hand, you asked a very interesting question. Are we also planning to invest in other parts of the city?
Yes.
Of course. We believe that Bangalore will need a second airport. Timing of that can anywhere be, the requirement of that can be anywhere between 2031 and 35. Somewhere around that time frame, we must have a second airport for Bangalore because this airport will run out of capacity, irrespective of, because ultimately it's a 2-runway system, and it's the 2-runway system that will be the constraining factor. And we think that it can go up to about 90, 100 million, or a little bit beyond 100 million passengers. But we'll start the capacity, we'll see the capacity starting to get constrained even a little before that. So by then, we must have the second airport in. Well, if the opportunity is presented to us, 100% we'll invest in the second airport.
But you are interested in it.
Very much, very much.
Have you made some amends in order to reach out to the government, commenced any conversations yet?
We have a very good relationship with the state government. There are 13% equity stakeholders in this business. So we maintain a very strong relationship. But we also respect the fact that the government has to go through a process. And I think that's the right way to do it. And as a good corporate citizen, we will participate in that process and respect the outcome of that process. So from our standpoint, we are very interested in running the second airport. But we also understand that there has to be a process to discover who does it. And we'll put in our best bid when that happens, for sure.
Will this not be too much of involvement and investment across? Your focus is currently on expanding the current terminal and, trying and taking over the capacity that's being diverted from other airports. Besides this, also getting into a new airport business?
So these won't clash. Ideally, all the expansion that you're talking about, we should be able to complete by 2029, end of 2029, early 2030. We're completing. This is going to happen a little later. And I think in a fast-growing environment, we should be able to tap into these opportunities. The issue is about creating bandwidth. And we have the financial bandwidth. Management bandwidth can be built as we go along. and the shareholders have the appetite for it. So it's a great opportunity. It should not be one that we should miss.
Okay. On the regulatory front, Hari, are you satisfied with the current laws and policies existing?
Oh, I must say, from the time the airport economic regulation. So when you speak about regulation, there are multiple aspects of regulation. There is the two aspects of regulation in an airport that are paramount and that have been in existence since civil aviation itself, which is safety regulation and security regulation.
I mean the revenue sharing model, the tariff sharing model.
Okay, so then you're specifically talking about economic regulation. Yeah. So ever since the Airport Economic Regulatory Authority has been established, over a period of time, one has seen a continuous maturing of the regulatory framework. I think today we have what can be called a reliable and predictable model as far as economic regulation is concerned. There are a couple of aspects on which there is a little bit of let's say friction, primarily on account of what we believe has been promised under a concession agreement, where vis-a-vis what the ERA Act says, and that we just need to sort it out, and that's probably for the courts to decide. But apart from that, I think the economic regulator does a terrific job today. They're very fair. They give us ample opportunity to be heard, which is more than one can ask for. Very, very open to discussions, debates, very forward-looking. I see that the regulator has looked at new models of tariff, for example, arriving passenger tariff, variable tariff proposal to facilitate, let's say, in providing incentives to airlines. These are really forward-looking things, and I think the regulator has done some of these. But as the industry grows and the market matures, I think there is room for further, let's say, maturing and minor modifications and changes to the regulatory framework to enable further growth. And the basic idea is the economic regulatory framework must enable growth and must allow the true potential of Indian civil aviation to be reached. That's
okay. Where do you think is the cost pressure point for airport operators currently in India?
When you look at an airport's P&L, there are two parts. There is the cost of capital, the cost of the capital cost, let me call it that. The capital cost, which is what it takes to build this infrastructure. Fundamentally, that is the largest component. That's why airports like ours operate at a very high EBITDA margin, because the variable cost is, or direct costs are relatively low. So we operate at about 70-72% EBITDA, because the bulk of the cost is below that in the form of capital, the cost of construction, cost of creating infrastructure. So there are two parts to that as well. One is the actual construction cost, and the other one is the interest that goes for the debt that we raise for this. Our interest costs, I think, are the most competitive amongst airports in India because of our AAA rating and the kind of track record that we've had. We've managed to get really attractive rates for our loans, and that works really well for us. On the hard cost for construction, I think there are two things that go into it. One is how we design.
Yeah.
And I think even when you construct a terminal like this, we've proven this with this terminal, that it's possible to do this at an attractive cost. And we've managed to achieve that with Terminal 2. So designing to a very specific cost is very important. And third, when we give this out for construction, it must be through a highly competitive bidding mechanism so that you get the best prices from the construction companies coming into it. So these are the kind of things that influence the cost of creating infrastructure. On the operations side, two main items, the O&M expenses, operation and maintenance expenses, which is largely AMCs and CMCs for all the equipment that you see around here, the maintenance of all these facilities, the cleaning and all of that. And second is manpower. So these are the two big items. But we keep a very close eye and manage very strong physical discipline as we grow and expand. Over a period of time, the aim being to make sure that our cost per passenger keeps coming down.
Okay. Globally, a lot of airports are now diversifying their revenue models. They're going for non-aero business, be it retail, realty, or leasing. On that front, where do you see BIAL doing?
I think we've done really well when it comes to non-aeronautical revenue streams in the airport. And I think if you walk through the terminals today, you'll see that we have a really nice, attractive environment, retail, food and beverage and entertainment sort of juxtapositioned along the passenger's journey, creating just about enough interest and excitement for passengers to stray from their paths to the gate and go into one of these stores and open up their wallets. But that's I think we have done well there. And I think today we're at about 35% of our revenues coming from non-aeronautical streams and 65% from aeronautical streams. Our aim over a period of time is to make that go to about 50-50. Of course, never losing sight of the fact that the fundamental role of the airport is to facilitate the travel of the passenger. We don't want to create food and beverage and retail environments that come in the way. They should accompany, and there should be a natural accompaniment to the passenger's journey and not a hindrance to the journey. Having said that, the non-airport activity is another interesting form of revenue, which is the term that's used in our concession agreement for all our real estate work. So as far as that is concerned, I think we started late. Admittedly, we started late. And the reasons were that we were 40 kilometers away from the city and we didn't have the metro connectivity to the city. So starting business parks here was really a non-starter, if you ask me, till about a few years ago. 5 years ago, we started our real estate development, which of course then was derailed a bit because of COVID. Now we're back on track. At this point of time, we've already monetized about 100 acres out of the 450 acres that we had, including two massive MRO deals with both Air India and Indigo. And that apart, we have developed about 27 acres for various commercial projects. Right now, we're developing a 2 million square feet office complex. We're developing a 775 room hotel. We're developing, as we speak now, a concert arena, a large convention center, and a logistics park. These are the projects that are under development as we speak right now, and a built-to-suit campus for Air India for their training for the aircraft maintenance engineers.
Oh, roughly what is the kind of percentage that this non-aero contributes in your balance sheet on your revenue front?
So, like I said, most of these are in the development stage. So they really haven't started producing the revenues yet.
The ROIs.
ROIs yet. So this, you will see that emerging in the next 3 years or so.
Okay. Hari, we were also talking in the beginning about the last mile connectivity, and that is big when it comes to Bengaluru, the city. Because a lot of people expect that they could also reach to their endpoint safely and securely and comfortably from the airport. I know air taxis was something that was in the pilot stage. You were also working on it. What is the kind of conversation and recent update you have with the state government on the metros or connectivity of other options?
Yeah, I think the point you made is absolutely spot on. Connectivity to the city is paramount, especially in India, because we're still not as large a hub as many other countries. Yeah. And what happens is when you have hubs, the connectivity to the city is not so important because arriving passengers then depart through the airport itself. But here we have a large number of passengers who have to get to the city. So currently, we expect the metro and the construction, if you just look out of here, you'll see the construction happening at absolutely blinding pace. And by third quarter of next year, we should have the metro operational. The tracks inside the airport are almost done. The two stations are coming up. The airport terminal station is almost ready, actually. So things are moving along quite well. But the good news is that there are other things that are happening on the connectivity front as well. The other thing that we're expecting to see shortly coming to the airport is the suburban rail connectivity from the city. We already have the line passing through the airport, except that the station is to the northwest corner of the airport. We are hoping that we should be able to draw a line that comes into the central terminal forecourt area and have a station there. So that becomes an alternate mass rapid transport connection to the city. Apart from that, we're also improving the road network. Today, the airport is connected by a single highway that comes in from the western side of the airport campus. There's a highway that passes right by the eastern side. But to bring the passengers in, we're building a 2.5 kilometer underground tunnel that will bring the passengers underneath the aircraft parking stands and directly into the terminal forecourt area, which will hugely cut travel time for all people who are coming from the south and east of the city. They won't have to go to Hebal flyover and come into the airport, improving connectivity tremendously for them. And last but not the least, we're keeping our eyes very closely trained on new modes of transport.
Yeah, like
You know,
the
we have
taxis.
air taxis for one, and we have this MOU going on with Sarla Aviation, which seems to be the most promising of all of these startups. We're hoping that we'll see some of these little things flying up and down, carrying passengers to these
All
cities.
of this is going to take time. I mean, you say Q3 of next year.
Next year.
So
Metro, that's for sure.
Also, passengers actually can take the metro from the airport by next
Absolutely.
year.
Absolutely. By September next year, they should be getting into a metro from here to the city.
Okay, great. Another question, Hari, and this is because I have seen that how Delhi has been now identified as a transit hub. Now, in terms of Bengaluru, are you upscaling this conversation with global airlines to spot yourself as a transit hub, especially for I-to-I traffic?
Well, hubs are made not by international airlines coming into Bangalore who operate one or two flights. Really, that's not. Hubs have to be made by a domestic airline in partnership with that airport. So if you just look at any hub around the world, it's Changi Airport with Singapore Airlines, Dubai Airport with Emirates Airline, Doha Airport with Qatar Airline. So it's always the home airline and the home airport together that create a hub.
So who are you convincing, Air India or Indigo?
With both of them, we have potential with both of them. With Air India, we've already inked a hub agreement, and you probably you're aware of that we've signed a hub agreement with Air India. And that over the next 5 years, you'll see that developing, because you'll have multiple international flights from here, and they'll use their domestic network to feed into that. And so you'll see both the domestic to international as well as the international to international network developing. With Indigo, the great news is that it's already happening. Domestic to international traffic transfer rates of Indigo have gone up from about 2 to 3% 5 years ago to 17% already. And specifically on the international side, recently our observation has been that domestic Indigo feeds almost 40% of international traffic as far as just Indigo is concerned. 17% is overall, but if you just look at Indigo's volumes, 40% of their international flights are fed from their domestic flights. So that's already a hub in works.
Hub and growing.
Absolutely.
Talking a bit about the structural safety, and this question comes in after what happened recently at Delhi Terminal 1. In terms of Bengaluru Terminal, what is the kind of timeline or follow-up that you do in terms of your safety audits to ensure that the passengers are secure and there is no problem in accessing it?
And there's not a single answer to that, because there are multiple levels of checks that are done. Structural safety audit, which is a large, major safety audit for the structure, is done once a year. That includes, for instance, we've got structures hanging from here, right? This needs to be checked on a regular basis. This is done annually to make sure that this is safe. On top of that, we've got multiple other levels of checks as well. So, for instance, just before the rainy season begins, we have checks to make sure the drains are all cleared, so there's no water held up on the ceilings or on the top of the roof or whatever it is. On top of that, the other thing that we look at is, because Bangalore rains are normally accompanied by very heavy winds, so we look at securing of the panels of the roof so that they don't fly away during rainy season. We look at other structures that are probably temporary in nature. As part of the construction, we secure them just before the rainy season. So multiple levels of checks that are done to make sure. So as far as we are concerned, zero compromise on safety. And this is something that we take very seriously. We have tie-ups with both IIT Chennai as well as IIT Mumbai with their civil engineering departments to support us in our efforts to make sure that these structural audits are done with a great amount of diligence and care.
Okay. Tell me a bit about your cargo business. How are you positioning Bengaluru Airport in terms of serving as a cargo hub point for especially South India?
I think one has seen this already happening. So our cargo volumes, this is something that pleases me no end. So give me the opportunity to speak about it. Last year we touched 500,000 metric tons of cargo, a huge number. When we began, we were really a small airport as far as cargo is concerned. This is one area we've put in a lot of effort. So there are 2-3 things that we speak about. One is the infrastructure that we require at the airport to handle cargo. today, I think we're very proud of the facilities that we have. We have two major cargo terminal operators, which are integrated, domestic and international. Then we have the largest domestic cargo terminal in India that we have just inaugurated recently. Fourth, we have a cool port, which has got some of the most advanced temperature-controlled logistics facilities of the country that we have built over here. As a result of which, Bangalore Airport is the number one exporter of perishables out of India. 31% of India's perishable exports go out of Bangalore today. And that's because we've created this infrastructure. And last but not the least, we have an express cargo facility, again, a unique facility, which houses all the three bigs, DHL, UPS, and FedEx. All three are present there. And with that, they have a great facility through which express deliveries can happen as well, which I think is the engine for e-commerce business in India. And then, of course, apart from all of this, we've just recently inaugurated also in partnership with our partners, Air India SATS, our new logistics center. And a second logistics center is under development. So all of this sort of, from an infrastructure standpoint, seamlessly fits in together to offer a seamless logistics solution. And the proof of the pudding is when Foxconn was establishing its plant and was shopping around India as to where to establish it, they chose Bangalore. And in their press release, I don't know whether you noticed, the CEO of Foxconn specifically said one of the reasons why they chose Bangalore was the quality of the airport that will serve as the gateway for their exports, which is incredible, right? I mean, that's the kind of impact it can have on the city. So that's as far as infrastructure, as far as cargo is concerned. The other thing that we have done very closely is worked with the ecosystem, the forwarders, the consolidators, the cargo handling agents. And with all of them, we've established a network. We work very closely and very collaboratively with them. And we've created a completely paperless operation. Today, everything works on an app, giving complete visibility to every member of the ecosystem as to exactly where the parcel is and what the status is. And this, I think, helps them, gives them great visibility and helps them bring down their logistics costs, times, and all of that. So I think partnership with our stakeholders is very key. And then all our business development efforts. We work. So, for example, when we wanted to tap into the garment exports from Tirupur, we set up a customs clearance house in partnership with customs in Tirupur so that we could do customs clearance there. And we created a branded product called LogiConnect, which would bring customs cleared garments in a bonded truck to Bangalore, and it goes straight into the warehouse and straight onto the aircraft, right? It's all cleared completely. That's the kind of work that we have done to continuously improve our cargo development.
Okay. Let me also bring focus on the ground handling part of it. You had to terminate services with Celebi a while ago out of national interest, which of course, has been across the country. Are you comfortable currently with the transition? Was it smooth moving to the other service?
It was exceptionally smooth. And here I really have to call out both our partners. So what we did was we broke the business into two and handed it over to two of our partners who did a splendid job. And we were there to shepherd it and sort of control it and guide them along. But it still required them to step up and deliver. So Air India SATS and Globe Ground India are two ground handlers who stepped in and did a terrific job. So today we are completely stable. In fact, we were stable from day one. From the same night itself, we had absolutely no issues whatsoever. And then what we did was we established a quick response team of our operations team to step in if wherever there would be a problem, whether it's a labor issue, whether it's a customer service issue, whatever the issue might be. This QRT would sort of respond to that so that we could, manage the situation with extra support from our team. But, the QRT never had to be called because it all turned out to be very smooth. Now we will be appointing a third ground handler. We're starting the tendering process for that now. Okay,
great. As we come to the end of this interview, Hari, I must ask this to you because Indian aviation has seen quite a turbulence in the last few months. It started with the airspace and then, unfortunately, the fatal incident involving Air India just a while ago. What is your vision for the sector in the coming years? Do you see us fighting the turbulence strongly and steadily?
The turbulence is in the nature of the aviation business. There's no escaping that. It is. Literally. But having said that, I think Indian aviation is today poised for what I call the golden age for aviation in India. The next 5 years is just going to be incredible. With 1,200 planes on order, airports sort of investing in capacity creation. Bangalore Airport, Navi Mumbai, Jewar, Delhi Airport, Hyderabad Airport, all of them are investing in capacity. If we get our act together in terms of also building simultaneously the competencies required, getting talent lined up, investing in technology, I tell you, Indian aviation will see its biggest boom in the next 5 years. And the opportunities that I see here is, one, creating hubs in India, which we have over the years leaked away to neighboring countries. I think it's time to reclaim some of that back and create strong hubs in India itself. Number two, of developing the entire ecosystem, whether it's MRO, the component maintenance, whether it's about training, all of that, the ancillary businesses, which we've always relied externally for support. I think it's time. Leasing, aircraft leasing, all of that are great opportunities for us to build in India today as the business grows. So I think incredible time ahead of us as we speak.
Thank you very much, Hari, for speaking with us on this conversation.
Pleasure talking to you, Karishma.
Mr. Hari Marar, who shares about the
you.
future of Indian aviation and the banking big on the fact that India is looking forward to become a hub in the coming days. Thank you very much and keep watching Business Today Television.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.